everything.
We've looked into sourcing.
We like the control.
Yeah.
And we like that we can throw things in packages. We like that we can turn things around quicker. Like we can get a product in on, Wednesday and release it Thursday.
Sure.
It's not ideal.
Right.
But like sometimes it happens, right? It's better than delaying the release a couple weeks or something because you got to get the packages off the fulfillment center and get everything fucking squared away.
And like he was saying with the throwing in stickers and shit, that's not as easy with like a fulfillment center or unless you put them in the shirts.
And like custom bags, you can use custom bags with fulfillment centers, but then they'll want the bags to have like barcodes on them also, so they can make sure to match them up with everything. And it's just like there's a lot more shit like that.
Yeah. Well,
get there one day.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's going to be on us for a while.
Yeah, I think a lot of places do. It makes sense too because, like you said, or returns, because then your customer service has to be at the fulfillment kind of. Rather than you do your own customer service.
I think that they handle it, mostly. But
then
the customer service thing, especially if you have the product right there, you can get somebody out say they got the wrong shirt or the wrong size, you can handle it like instantly. Right. Where it's like you're going back and forth with the fulfillment people, but they don't make mistakes.
True.
The fulfillment people.
Yeah, order mistakes are basically zero.
Yeah. But then quality control of customer service. Correct. Like if they work for you, they care about what's going on at Caffeine and Kilos.
Correct.
Fulfillment kind of cares about money, and maybe they care. Maybe I'm jaded. And
they don't want to lose your business.
Right, but they're not like, like stoked on the product or, oh, that's a dope shirt. They don't care. That's X's and O's.
Yep.
True. Makes sense.
Intro to the boys?
Yeah. Well, for one thing, we are inside our building recording a podcast together for the first time since 2014.
Maybe.
And I think that we recorded with you guys in maybe January of like 2015.
Yeah, probably early on the move.
Yeah.
You guys were brand new in that other building.
Yeah, for sure. So we got Danny and Dean from Caffeine and Kilos with us today.
Which I do think, we didn't think about it at the time. Dean was randomly hit me up, wanted to stop by, and then Jim's like, oh, well, we have the podcast with him. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And then it makes even more sense that we moved it in here with you two, because you guys also have some history in here.
Yeah.
We probably met you through here. I don't even know when we officially met, but I'm sure it had to do with this space in some capacity.
Me for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure Danny too was probably,
definitely.
Maybe it was through you or Charlie or something, but it had to do around this block of some nature.
Yeah, I've been in and out of this building since 2008.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's 12 years now.
12 years, yeah.
It feels like all this time in here was like yesterday.
Yeah.
It does.
In this building.
I was standing there daydreaming because I had so many fumes in my face from like waxing and shit. And
that wasn't daydreaming.
So it was a vision.
I don't know what was going on. Yeah, ayahuasca wax got me, and I'm staring out the door, and I was like, "Fuck, bro!" Like it's the same. I don't know. It is just weird because there is a shit ton of memories here, shit ton of people. Everyone in fitness that we know kind of came from here.
For sure.
Where you're training now with our boy Ben and Amadeo and Brian. Like it's just a weird thing, and we've talked about it a bunch, and it sounds like everyone says that, like, my gym's the best and we have the best trainers. And that's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, so much cool shit kind of happened here, and it was kind of, even on the internet, people are like, wow, like, Sacramento has a lot of fitness. I'm like, yeah, kind of.
It was just all in one place at one point, almost. Like, it's kind of crazy how much history this building has with, like, Sacramento health and wellness, right?
Yeah, the Tommy Kono stuff was here for a very long time.
Yeah.
Obviously, the powerlifting side.
And now you guys are back. The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah, it's weird.
Full circle.
It's funny to me because, I mean, I spent a lot of time here, from 08 to 14, and it feels the same in the same way it is. At the same time, it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Like, it feels different. Once we got in here, it looked different than it did the last time that we were like working out here, and it was a lot. Let's say it was a lot. Connor described this room as being like a room covered with bad tattoos. So
that's a
lot of mixed art.
We had to clean the slate in here, and make it clear. But as we're starting to get more stuff in here, and instead of just working on it, like starting to kind of do business in here.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to feel. Now I'm starting to get the nostalgia.
Yeah, and I'm starting to get excited. I haven't been excited because like the end of the light because of COVID and everything's so far away. Yeah. But then I even told Jim yesterday. He's like, "Yeah, let's get Dean and Danny here." And then I was like, I kind of want to podcast with Dean and Danny, and and that's a compliment to you too, as being friends and the building and all of it, because I haven't wanted to podcast in probably a year. Yeah. I just haven't wanted to. Yeah. Like. We're doing Zoom stuff.
Yeah.
This is in the back of our head how we're opening this a year ago.
Yeah.
And then now things are coming, and this is exactly why we want to build this, is to hang out with you two.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, I'm stoked to be here. And it's funny how the different buildings, you know, how you do get a feeling, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's part of it's when there's buildings where there's been a lot of videos and stuff there, because people that have never been here, when they come in, it's like you feel something, right? People say it about Cal Strength a lot.
Yeah.
Like there's something in the walls.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's true, even though they've done some different built some different walls in and built out a little lobby area that didn't used to be there. Still, when you're back in the training room, it like if you feel something, like you're back there, like, okay, I guess I got to put out today.
Yeah.
Like there's no just fucking around and going through anything. And part of it's, I think, from the videos people have watched, and you know what's happened. You know, you're like, oh yeah, people have, you know, snatched American records in here, fucking barefoot.
Yeah.
You know, between fist fights, stuff like that. But you know, like you just feel it
For sure.
It's kind of in here too, even though now the equipment is a couple platforms that are in, you know, halfway through restoration.
Yeah, they're wrecked.
But still, I feel like I'm like, man, I kind of feel like fucking getting after it.
Yeah. That's
You know,
part of
like-
why we want to move in here. And I do think, obviously, like leadership, team, barbells, equipment. There's a lot of things that go into like building the culture of
fuck
something.
it, get a building.
Well, I do
with some
think
history.
I do think there's some building to it, and even if you could hypothetically erase the history here, I think the building is. We were just talking about COVID issues, and we'll dig into business, and you guys are one of the best I know in any company, let alone the fitness space, to build culture and to build a brand. I was talking to Connor, like our 10-year plan. I was like, shit, Caffeine and Kilos reaching onto their 10 years. Like, you guys have been in this shit for a very long time, and you've done it really, really fucking well. And we'll dive in there. But point being is, like, I do think there's almost something to the walls despite history. And that's why we were so set on coming here, because we were talking about the you open the gates, you feel like you're outside, which may or may not help us COVIDly in a couple weeks. We don't know.
COVIDly, that's the new word for this week.
COVIDly.
But it feels so good. Something about it feels really fucking good. So we're excited to have you boys. Something we've been talking about.
Yeah, when you guys told me that you guys were taking over this space, like, I just got a huge grin on my face, because I was like, well, I know where I'm going to be going.
Yeah.
And I know where I'm going to be, you know, feeling the best and wanting to like actually like be motivated to like train and just hang out with like good people. So I was super stoked when you guys kind of brought that news to me. But and also like my history with this building too, with like learning basically weightlifting in here. You know, like I was dabbling in it obviously before, but then like when I really started taking it to that next level and like really training with like a team and joining in on all that stuff, it was in these walls. So it's like got a special place for me for sure.
Two quick things. One, in this building, there's a weightlifting meet, and I missed my opening snatch, and I missed my second attempt, and so I had to make my third one to stay in it. And so then we just went up, and I fucking made my third attempt. So I remember
Good
that.
memories.
That's one that stands out to me. All right, you only need one. That's all I got. And then the other one is there's a weightlifting meet that I was not lifting in, but my truck I was going to leave straight from here to go on this business trip, like from here straight to the airport, and I was going to be gone one night and then come back the next day, just like one night in Boise type thing. Charlie and I were going. He's lifting. Well, my truck is fucking broken into, and my backpack's in there, and all I have is like one change of clothes because one night type thing, right? Well, that's not there. So I like go to the local Walmart and I buy like fucking Moana toothbrush or whatever. Like it was like frozen because it was like older than that. Anyway, but like buy like the cheapest toothbrush they have, the cheapest pack of underwear they have. I was like, I need a pair of socks, you know, buy like stuff for one night. And then Charlie hit his last lift and we were going to be late for the flight. And so he hit his lift and we left. And he was in there, we're standing in TSA and he's in his fucking singlet.
Yeah, I love that.
I've got this brand new Walmart, but the cheapest backpack they had.
Little Spider-Man backpack.
So I've got all this like children's travel gear for one night and he's in a singlet. It was a shit show, man.
Yeah.
That's great. This neighborhood's come up a little bit since then.
Hey, you were parked down. You were parked down.
I was right here.
Yeah. Were you?
I was right here on the street. I was like,
over by the bushes down there.
Oh no, yeah. I was by the bushes down there.
Notwithstanding the abandoned boat that's in front of the building right now, and the fucking yard sale of boating equipment that's all over the sidewalk and shit currently. Like there isn't a house in this part of town now that is under $500,000, and most of them are like in the 8 range, which is nuts.
And they're hanging on by a thread to some of these older houses. It's so insane how much Sacramento has came up even since we first started 100%. Training here back, even 5-6 years ago. Yeah. It's just. The market has gone crazy down here.
When I trained here 2011, I think I first started.
Yeah.
I was like, I came down here to learn music, which is a whole nother, like Sacramento really is so cool and so small. So side tangent, I learned music downtown from, shout out to Harley White, my music teacher for like 10 years. And Brian, lived in the studio at like age 23 that I learned music from when I was like in 8th grade. It was like right by Cesar Chavez Park. Point being, this place is so small, such a small city, but I never came down here. I came down here for music, and then in 2011 I came down here to train, drove half an hour every fucking way just because it was the only place to lift. It was the only quote-unquote real gym.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and so now I live down here by choice because all I wanted, I never leave. Now I never leave.
There's a pulse.
There's food, there's culture, there's sports, there's bars, there's beer. Like we're a beer and food city now. Where like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, we were like we were the capital. You kind of came down here when you worked here, and that's about it.
Yeah, or go to Sutter's Fort or something.
Well, I did that as a kid, and that's about it.
Well, it's similar, like talking about how buildings have a feeling, and you feel something in a building, there's something in the walls. The same is true of cities.
Yeah.
If you go to different cities, in the airport, there's not much a lot of times. Once you get out into town, if you just stay downtown, walk around downtown for like 2 days, you kind of get it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, I kind of see what people are all about here.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't take long, really. It's like 2 days of walking around downtown. You kind of know what's up. And so Sacramento for sure has a feeling, much like Philadelphia has its own vibe, its own feeling. Sacramento, big time. You're walking around, you kind of know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you guys lived a similar life to me in the last whirlwind of 8 years of just traveling the U.S., working, really.
Yeah.
We haven't, you guys might have taken vacations, probably not because you guys work your dicks off, and you're like me. Everyone's like, what's your favorite? I was like, bro, I traveled the U.S. for work, and that's about it. But everyone says, like, what's your favorite place? My favorite places are exactly what you described. When you can walk around and know where, or you throw me in the middle of a city, and I look, and I'm like, oh, I know where I am. I'm in Miami. Yeah. Oh, I'm in New York City. Like, those are my favorite. Yeah.
New Orleans is my favorite U.S. city. There's no place like it.
Yeah.
The French Quarter.
I haven't been
and
yet.
It's just very different.
And we're starting to be that. You throw yourself in the middle of Sacramento, you're going to probably find a dope coffee shop somewhere. Yeah. You might find some clothing or some little boutique, and you'll probably find a brewery or like a food joint, and you're like, like a unique food joint, and you're like, all right, I'm in Sacramento.
I know what's up.
Yeah.
I wish that we still had the streetcar system they have in New Orleans. I wish we still had that because literally, there's a map that I bought a. It's a page off a travel guide from 1925.
Jim's like, I bought this sick map. I thought it was going to fill this whole wall.
I thought it was going to be big.
Comes in with a notebook size.
It's this big. So I scanned it and blew it up to 16 by 20. There's going to be one in each bathroom. There's one currently in the women's bathroom. But you can see where the streetcar lines used to be. And there used to be a streetcar like half a block from here.
Yeah, that's like what we're missing. If we had really good public transit like a Seattle or a Portland or a San Francisco, I think our city would be insane.
And just in New Orleans, you can kind of go anywhere or nearly anywhere that you'd want to go for nothing. Like it's a buck.
Like less than $1.
Yeah.
Throw a couple quarters in, you can end up all the way up by the museum,
They have an app now. We were there like last year before last. They have an app, and literally you just you're supposed to scam and it never works, and you just show them the app and they let you on. It's like no problem at all. It's great, and they're all like open air. The windows are always open. It's always hot in New Orleans anyway.
Yeah.
But we could have that here, but we don't.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome if we did.
Same with Austin, Texas.
In time,
Austin, Texas, kind of like that. They have a big strip of bars. Everything's outdoors. Every bar is outside. Like that's the one positive, and maybe not one. There's some we can find some silver linings of COVID, but something dope down here is they just shut off a couple streets, pulled up some metal poles. I don't know if you guys have been around downtown at all, but like our street. Over by Lowbrow, they just popped up metal poles and just made outdoor seating for the whole street. Right. I'm like, well, that's a positive. Like, we have great weather, we have good people, we have good food. Let's take advantage of some of this space, which may or may not be staying, I heard.
You're seeing a lot of the people that are surviving this, kind of situation, like the Sellons, and they're building all those huge outdoor. I don't know if you guys seen the one on H Street, but they built a huge outdoor patio in that whole parking lot, all wood. Yeah. Like, they just threw it up, but it looks great.
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Eastside,
yeah.
That's something that's been coming up, and another thing we can all talk on because you guys have such experience in it. Like Sacramento, I think Jim pulled up a stat, and this show's name is 50% facts, so everything I say is
potentially half
probably
true.
wrong.
I'm waiting for the one question you guys are going to answer. And
No,
then
no.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
No,
on
yeah,
this
we
show.
broke.
We'll figure it
format.
out afterwards.
You guys are so smart. We couldn't dial in one question. You get 20 of them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But they're, I think we're like top 10 or top 20 struggling cities during COVID because we're all small business based, because our city's so new and like everything's still being nurtured. It's not like these companies are 30 years old and they're like, yeah, we'll be fine. Like Dean just said, it's kind of like the creative companies, it's the innovative companies, it's the people that are dealing with these speed bumps. Well, I don't have a stat, but I'm just driving around. You're like, man, that already closed. Like this bar's already closed. This press club closed, which is like a staple here.
What's the other one? Old Tavern? Not Old Tavern.
Oh, yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. No, I think it's been over 300 bars and restaurants in Sacramento have closed.
Yeah, we're one of the most affected in the nation, which sucks.
Yeah. I read a stat that 55% of businesses that were forced to temporarily close will be permanently closed.
Nationwide?
Yeah, nationwide.
Yeah, I believe
55%.
That's where the original question, if you guys want your one damn question, was with you guys. Because we talked to a lot of people in the fitness industry since March 14th or whatever Doomsday was. And we started talking to, I've probably already told this on the podcast, but me and Connor were lifting at Untamed Strength. It's March 13th or whatever. And my mom's texting me like, hey, it seems like things are getting pretty weird. You know, maybe just grab a little extra food or, you know, whatever. And me and Connor are like, all right. So we just went to the grocery store. We're just going to grab like 3 frozen pizzas just in case. We don't know what the hell's going on. And some he's probably 20. He's on a shopping cart, hella slow, walking down the aisle. Looks at me. Did you hear they closed the colleges? And I'm like, like straight out of a horror film. I'm like, Connor, fuck, bro, let's get home.
What is this, Walking Dead season
I was like, I don't
12?
know. Yeah, I don't know. That's what it felt like. And no one's in the grocery store. Not a soul. This is before the toilet paper issues. Like, and I'm like, fuck, dude. I don't know what's happening.
You should have grabbed some toilet paper with your frozen pizza. That's actually always a good call.
Toilet paper and frozen
with
pizza.
frozen pizza.
Regardless of COVID.
Those frozen pizzas back me up, though. Might not even need the toilet paper for a few days.
You can order it on Amazon Prime. When it comes in 2 days is when you're going to need it.
Yeah, when my bowels start working
That's
properly.
the benefit of
3
not
days
having
later.
toilet paper is you're not eating fiber either during lockdown, so it doesn't really matter.
It's true.
But so we talked to a bunch of buddies about their businesses, mostly in gym owners, how they're doing, how they weren't doing, what the struggles were. And a lot of our buddies actually reported back very well, which is I'm glad to hear. I always want my friends to do well. But your guys' business, predominantly online. You guys are well established. What is it? How many years is it? 6, 8 years?
7 years.
2013. So it's been 7 years now because we started selling online before the invite. So
So 7 years.
So well established. How has business looked online? Have you had to make any adjustments? What was your thought process when it was going down? Did things change for your workflow of yourself? Because you guys do have an HQ, whether that be personally or for your company. And then what are things looking like online? Was there a shock in the system?
Well, first thing we did is we said, okay, well, no one, including us, no one wants to go to the store anymore.
Yeah.
So we'll just start shipping coffee free. Right. That's something we could do. It's like, it's a two pronged, right? One, it's legitimately helping because no one wants to go to the store.
Right.
Also, it's like, you know what? No one wants to go to the store. If we ship coffee free, maybe people who have bought our apparel but have never bought the coffee will try it.
Yeah.
And then they actually, we know it's good.
This is like, the coffee shops are closed now.
Coffee shops are closed. So people who would get coffee somewhere, they're now brewing it at home.
Yeah.
And so we started shipping coffee free. We started selling more like pour over drippers and stuff like that to help people make
at
coffee
home kind of brew kits, stuff like that.
And then the other side, so that's actually been good for us
for sure.
That aspect of it, I think that decision was a good thing. The other thing is that we just have been working at a different level. Like there's this fever pitch, right? When there's impending doom, like when you don't know, because you're looking at it and like there's serious financial consequences down the line, and with all these people out of work, and then with the businesses closed, and you just don't know how that's going to affect you. So it's like, well, shit. Like one thing we say a lot is like, got to cook while the griddle's hot, right?
Yeah.
And so we're like, all right, let's go time. And so we just cranked up our velocity of just the working pace and what we got going on, probably like 2 or 3 notches.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things: is that exact pace sustainable? Exactly how we were doing it? No. But what it actually led to is because we just got going the way we were and the way things are cranking, business actually was doing pretty well. And so we've been able to bring other people on. So we've actually we've hired since then, and then
3 people.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
Wow. And all of them are actually just complete fucking all-stars, rock stars. Better.
Mariel.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that was one?
Yeah.
And better than us at some of the stuff
Sure.
that we were doing, you know? And so it looks like not only we're going to be able to maintain that pace, but actually build upon it because there's more people in the works now, right?
That's dope. It's so cliche, but like,
it's
like
earlier,
double or
earlier we
nothing, right?
mentioned-
Like you go all in or you're going to
Well,
quit.
it's the fight or flight. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to let this kind of consume you and just sit back and let things fall apart, or
Yeah.
are you going to put your nose
'Cause
to
you
the
can.
grindstone?
Yeah,
And some
easily.
people do.
It's so easy. It's so easy to. It's so easy to like, fuck, man. No one's got money. They ain't buying shirts.
Right.
All
Well,
right, dude.
earlier
Hey, you
we
want to take a
talked about it.
vacation? Like, all right.
We talked about with the like at the gym, you know, but this is the same thing where it's the story you tell yourself. It's easy to say, oh, well, no one's going to buy shit. There's all these people out of work.
Yeah.
We should probably stop these things. We should probably stop running all our ads. We should probably like not release any new stuff. We should just kind of try and get rid of the old stuff.
Yeah.
We should just run all these big sales, like clear out any excess inventory. Like we should do all these scarcity minded things because, you know, no one can afford to buy anything anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And instead of shipping coffee free, it's like, oh, we should probably increase shipping
Yeah.
costs because, you know, whatever. And that's one way to do things, but that's the story you tell yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or you go, so I've been lately, or I think it was just yesterday I was telling someone, or you go the other way and you just go the why not attitude,
Yeah.
right? It's like, well, no one's going to buy shit. Well, why not? Because you said they're not?
Right.
Like, that doesn't matter, right? Like, no one, and so we just kind of went the other way with it. You know, Dean and I were talking about, like, all right, man, like, shit's getting real. I think that, like, what do we do? Well, what we do is we start fucking planning. We look at these things. What can we do that actually helps people? And then what can we do that's going to be beneficial to the business? And then let's cook while the griddle's hot, right?
Yeah.
Like if we don't know if this unemployment things, how long it's going to go on or how shitty the economy is going to get down the road. What we know is right now things seem okay. So let's just fucking pedal to the metal, get the most out of it, do what we can, and then see where it goes.
Yeah, and it seems to be doing fine.
Yeah.
People want stuff they can count on right now. I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
There's so much
Absolutely.
uncertainty
Absolutely.
that if you step forward and say, okay, we're going to be here as long as we can hang and hang with us. And that seems to be the approach that's working for a lot of people right now.
That's
which
kind of
is
where our mindset is.
what
too.
we're trying to do
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
It's got to be.
You call them in. Your guys' seems like you had a steady pace and you turned it up. Ours is like we had no pace and we just hopped in your race. And so like whether we're insane or not, I don't know. But that's what we keep joking about too. Like we're either the biggest geniuses on the planet right now, or you can.
idiots.
But I'd rather go all in and you call me an idiot in 3 months. Like I'd rather take that than be like, yeah, Mike didn't even try. That's weird.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
And that's what separates pretty much everybody at one point, right? Is those decisions, those hard decisions, and you just gotta go for it. You gotta do it. I think also I think we've built a community over the years that is a obviously very loyal community, and those people, they're gonna ride for us, you know, even when times are tough. And as long as we keep doing the right thing and making the right decisions with like integrity of the brand, I think people are always going to support that as far as like, you know, releasing new stuff, even in these times. Like, you know, people are still wanting that sense of normalcy, right? Of like, they still want to be able to work out. They still want to be able to have their coffee routines. And if we're not offering that for them, that's not benefiting them at all. They're going to kind of lose motivation and all this stuff that comes with that too. So it's like, as long as, I think if we keep people positive by keep things going, that it's going to benefit everybody.
Not to rewind too much or go like full origin story, but for us in particular, and I think a lot of companies like community or like branding, if you want to go into like business terms or whatever it might be, is like at the forefront of starting projects. But when you guys started Caffeine and Kilos, it's the fitness game is so insane because 2013, like the landscape was so different.
It
like
was.
You guys
it
are the
was.
beginning to me. You know, I think there's a few companies in my mind that really stick out in terms of like whether it be lifestyle apparel within the fitness brand that started in kind of this revolution of the barbell. CrossFit's obviously a piece of it, right? They started in 2007-ish. Got popular 2010 to 2015, and then who knows where they are here. We can dig into that later if you want, Danny. Yeah, I'm down because I have no thoughts or real opinions, but I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
And then this apparel lifestyle culture of the barbell started coming around, and I think you guys are at the forefront of it, if not the front. You know, there's companies like Gymshark, which aren't necessarily in our ballpark, but I think did something really, really special in their
around the same
ballpark.
time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and they're in a parallel ballpark. Those guys squat or bench or something. There's you guys.
8 man.
Eight man, I would say around similar
powerlifting.
culture, but they're even more niche than you guys. I would say there's the deadlifts and donuts maybe, and then that might be it in my head. There's Barbell Brigade, but they're a real apparel culture. Maybe even started after 2013. It was more like 2015.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one.
When did their gym doors open up in 2013?
So I think their gym was probably, they had a small one, 2012-ish. Their big one was probably 2013, 14. And then the apparel started to roll.
And Barbell Brigade is also really pushing that culture of,
100%.
of the lifestyle of fitness. Not just like the gym or just the products. It's the overall lifestyle.
And I know you guys have probably shook hands and hung out with Bart a little bit, but if you got to know him, like he's just like us, and I think that's why we all get along and could talk and lift weights or whatever. We just like do the same shit kind of. We work real hard. We kind of work out, and then we just kind of like to chill or whatever it might be, like he's a similar mindset to all of us. And it's not like, he's like us too in the sense now that we're the old dogs. Like Bart really power lifted and like he's competed a bunch, but then he's kind of doing jiu-jitsu. You kind of weight lifted, you kind of power lifted, you kind of want to do some bodybuilding stuff. You skateboard. You have these other hobbies. You're not just a total meathead, even though like our world is kind of meatheady. But what was the original thought of Caffeine and Kilos? Was it to build a culture? And obviously, it's probably hard to say. Like, we knew we'd be where we are now. We knew, like, when I go to CrossFit games or like even a 24-hour fitness in our neighborhood, I'll probably see some Caffeine and Kilos. I'd probably put you guys in the top. I'd probably put you in the top 5 any fitness brand that I see.
I've seen it in London. I've seen it in Canada.
Instagram for sure. I'm scrolling around randos, doing my creeping, and Caffeine and Kilos is popping up. Like, you're definitely. It's probably Barbell Brigade, you guys. Maybe like a Bradley Martin company or something like that, but they're Alpha Elite, now shout out to my boy Russ Swoll, who's carrying this little torch. He's doing a lot of cool stuff with Get Better Today, but like, that's about it. Like, you guys are top dogs.
I mean, when we ship all over the world, every day. So
what was the original thought in going into that? Was it to be like, all right, man, we're going to make a staple here, and the CrossFit, I guess, was kind of the first
the original
punch,
plan was
right?
bringing people together. And that's the thing. It wasn't even, there was the apparel piece for sure, but the original idea was the Caffeine and Kilos Invitational. Like, that's what really, without that, I don't think that this wouldn't have ever evolved into what it is. And so that's the thing, is why people talk about the culture, branding, and how, we have our community, which is so involved and trusts us and everything. Well, that's how it all started at the Caffeine and Kilos Invitational, right? We held a meet. We brought the best weightlifters in the country out. We gave them cash prizes.
Unheard of.
In a sport that didn't have that.
Yeah, even now it's unheard of.
Yeah. And we had a CrossFit style competition at the same time. There was a team competition, teams of 4, and they came out, and then that's an audience for the weightlifters at the end. And so we held this community event that brought together weightlifting and CrossFit. Now it's powerlifting as well.
Yeah.
And those all happened at the same time, the same place. And at that time, no one else was really doing that outside of something like the Arnold, where there's 100 fucking sports.
Yeah.
But no one was just kind of bringing the barbell crew, together. And that was at the very beginning of the company, and I think that really stood out to a lot of people. Like, well, what's going on? These guys are doing something different, right? Like, they're having a weightlifting meet, and they have these CrossFitters who they know what a snatch is and a clean and jerk is, but they have never seen someone snatch fucking 400 pounds before, right? And so then they can come out and they can see that, and the weightlifters, like, most of them kind of know what's up with CrossFit, but at this time, 2013, there's still kind of a weird relationship there. But what they weren't used to doing is lifting in front of a crowd. Like, I remember lifting at national championships in 2012. It was in a fucking skating rink in Westchester, Ohio,
with 7 people.
It's like that's somebody's mom, and like that's a teammate,
and that's a coach, and that's about it,
and that's it. And there's the lights that come on during fucking couple skate, and like that's what was going on.
Why is Ashanti on the radio?
Right? Yeah.
Well, the Caffeine and Kilos, the first year of the Caffeine and Kilos Invitational was the. And it was years after this as well, but it was the biggest cash prize in USA weightlifting history of the sport.
Wow. Even now in powerlifting, like there's been all these like meets that try to pay, or like nothing's been consistent. Nothing's been consistent in our sports, and like I do think that's one of the key pieces missing in really pushing what we all do. That's what separates us from strongman. Strongman, and even strongman's not that much money when you look at it. I think world strongest man is like 30K in the scheme of professional athlete.
You're seeing that on ESPN.
And that's on ESPN. They're only making 30K.
You got to fly from Iceland to win.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a good time. Every time I see things that are like shot in Iceland, I'm like, man, I got to get there.
Yeah, or what they do it in South Africa a lot for some reason, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know
China.
why. Yeah, China.
Everybody
I've
got
heard stories.
Yes, people got sick.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I've heard stories. So the first invitation, I remember the exact YouTube video was what, Mather Field-ish or one of these fields, right? Or it was like a sports complex on Auburn.
Sports complex
on Auburn Boulevard, right by my house, actually.
Yeah, and there was still
McClellan Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's still tiles on the ground for the volleyball court.
Sports court.
Yeah, so that sport court on the ground, and so we just held the meet on the sport court.
Yeah, why not?
No.
I remember seeing
Slick Rick.
I was like, the guy, quick on that. So first of all, we're just like, oh, we'll go find a place. This was an idea.
Sure.
Right? We'll just go look at some venues and see what's up. And we stopped by this one place. We're like, this is big enough. It's like, whatever.
Oh, it was massive. How many square feet is that place?
Oh, God, too big.
Yeah, it's probably like 7 basketball courts or some more.
Oh, more.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Like probably like 15, 20.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah. No shit, probably like 80,000 square feet
Yeah.
or something. And so, actually, yeah, probably like 80,000 square feet. So we're in there and we're looking around and we said, okay, this actually looks great. And you had a date that was like 10 weeks out, which is pretty close, but I think we can pull it off. You know, we have the connections and stuff. And so, all right, well, it's whatever, $7,000. We need the money now or need a deposit now, whatever. And we're like, oh shit. Well, all right. Here's our credit.
Is this before like sales or anything?
This was an idea.
We launched the brand of the apparel at the Invitational.
Right. So it's not like you have cash.
There's
flow and
no-
you're like,
there's
all right,
no
we
money.
have about $7,000 to spend. Let's do it.
No, Danny used his personal savings account.
Yeah.
for the deposit.
I think this is good for people to know because people don't know how this works.
And
there was no funding for Caffeine and Kilos.
Yeah, this wasn't like a plan. It wasn't like this big plan of we'll go out there and we'll spend this money. We're like, oh, we'll just go look at this place,
Right.
and maybe this idea of holding a competition will work.
And we'll get Danny's money back, and we'll have a great event.
Yeah.
You know,
And there was no like calling the wife, right? It was kind of like, oh, $7,000. Okay, here's a credit card. You know,
thinking back at that now is like kind of crazy that we did that.
Yeah.
Well, but so here's my logical thinking. I remember, because it's how I see things anyway, is I remember thinking like, okay, well, if we're gonna have a team competition and say we can charge whatever, make a number up, say $400 a team.
Yeah.
Right. And it's okay. Well, then, and it's $7,000 for this venue.
How many teams do you think
How
I
many
can
teams
get?
do we need? Okay. Oh, we only need 15 or 20 teams. Oh, we can get 20 teams because like I have a gym, this guy's a gym. We know all the local gyms in the area.
Sure.
Like, we'll get 20 teams for sure, right? Like, there's no question.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thought process of it. So it didn't seem that risky at the time. Of course, then we're in the car driving home, and I'm like, wonder if I should have like.
Well, if you go ask someone normal too, or someone listening, and they're like, "Oh yeah, like $7,000," and then I turn into Caffeine and Kilos 8 years later, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." But until you're putting your credit card over, or you're looking at your bank account statement, and $7,000 just disappears, and you don't know what's coming in 2 weeks.
And they're going, I should probably tell my wife about this.
Yeah, you got kids. You don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, brand new baby.
Yeah.
First baby.
Again, going to your point earlier, like very few people are going to do this. This is kind of what separates, and that is walking the line of, is Danny a genius? And here we go, we're going to do an awesome lifestyle brand, or is he an idiot? We're just down 10K and we're going to fizzle away. Like probably many brands that we don't know the name of have happened.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the idea with COVID. One of the things that happened is how it's like, all right, fucking nose the grindstone. Like, here we are, right? Like, the cranking it up a few levels, working at a fever pitch.
Yeah.
It was that same situation. Now we're walking away. Okay, now we got a venue. That's done. So now we can start getting lifters in here to commit to doing this thing.
Yep.
Now we can get a sponsor to pay the cash prize. That was another thing, too. We wanted his cash prize. We got to find a sponsor to pay that cash prize.
I think first place was $10,000
I think, or the whole thing was $10,000
Was
or
it?
something,
Yeah.
right? But it was like,
for each side, though, wasn't it? Male and female, spread out.
I'm not sure. Honestly,
It was.
like,
I mean, it's 7 years ago, and we've done so many since then.
It's significant money.
It was a lot of
that
money.
is just
More
not-
than ever that's been even thought of.
they
doing.
were like promising to people and like, okay, well, if we don't find, we got to find sponsors
Yeah.
to pay it, and then we got to get teams. So it's like, all right, fever pitch. Like, we have to fucking get teams now. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't like an idea. It's like, now we're going to be there on that day.
Yeah, I think that's
Right.
something good, though. And I keep referencing Barquan because you guys, him, my buddy Omar are guys that are similar to us. And then they're like, not the scarcity mindset, and they'll talk about money and they'll talk about business. And so one thing when I was buying my car like 3 years ago, Bart's like, you know what I like to do, Mike? I was like, what's up, bro? He's like, I like to spend just a little bit more than I can spend, and then I got to work hard. He's like, so I'll just
motivation.
If I can afford a $400 monthly payment, I'll just go grab a car for about $500. And that's kind of like, well, I put down $7K. We have this ginormous venue. All right, fuck it, $10K for a win. Let's make this $10K now. And that's, I think that is putting your ass on the line and kind of proving it to yourself. And then my ego I want to do all this to prove it to the world too. That's deeper therapy we can get into later, boys. But you know, like you always have to push yourself, otherwise nothing is ever going to happen. Like nothing will move the tires.
Well, it's the same thing working out, right? Like, what's the best way to stay motivated to go to the gym? Sign up for a meet.
Yeah,
put a meet on the calendar.
Put a meet on the calendar. You send in your check. You pay for it ahead of time. At least when I first started doing meets, we actually sent checks, by the way. It wasn't just all
handwritten
online.
check.
Yeah.
Danny put it in stone.
To etch it out. So, you know, that thing.
Morse code.
Yeah.
Smoke signals.
Was it 2 dashes and dash? Fuck. So that's it. You sign up. So, all right, well, I'm going to be there on this day.
Yeah.
And so if I don't want to look like an ass clown, I better lift some weights in the meantime.
If I don't want to get divorced, we better make $7K, buddy.
Yeah.
If I want to feed my baby.
Yeah. You had a new kid. Yeah, Danny had how old was Maddie when we first started?
She was born in 2013. She was 6 months old.
Yeah, so we have a picture of her in our first HQ, which was an attic of a gym.
Yeah.
And it was her crawling on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
In the attic.
Eating fucking cockroaches, probably.
Yeah. It was very dirty up there, but, you know, they got to, it's their kids. They're resilient.
Yeah, immunity.
That's immunity, yeah, that's right.
I also, like, back to, like, that first meet, is like, I think that was the first time where you saw hundreds of people cheering on these lifters on this platform. It was like you would see a national meet for weightlifting maybe in like 2014, 16, where these meets started getting a little bigger.
Oh, like, 18.
Yeah. That's true. And that was like the first time where I think even these lifters were like, oh my God, like these people are getting fired up.
They had a great time. Like they left, the lifters were pumped.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, this is
the energy was insane in that building.
It was like their favorite. A lot of guys told us it was the favorite meet they've ever done, type thing. And these are guys who've like competed at world championships, and we had
since they were 12.
We had an Olympian lift there, you know, 100%. Stuff like that. And
even the deadlift I did there was probably the only good memory I've ever had of competing. I hate competing.
Yeah, that was fun. I
got forced to compete. I hate competing. I like to lift weights. I like to coach cats, and that's about it. But I got forced into competing there, and it obviously ended up well because I actually did well. But the crowd was nuts. The crowd was nuts. Music's blaring. I don't know if you guys did it purposely or not, but like weightlifting's on a break and then powerlifting's going, and there's a crowd. And I'm like, oh shit, I'll take a crowd. Like if there's a crowd, I'm gonna smash weights
for sure.
We get DJ Tonio.
DJ Tonio always comes through with the bangers.
With the bang, yeah.
Yeah,
same guy every year, you know. And he knows what time it is.
Yeah,
he shows up and he's like, we want it louder, right? Like, yeah, probably louder.
But that is something so different to strength sports, and like that's what I live for in real sports is kind of a crowd or the other team's coach or parent or someone saying like good job or and again my ego issues, but that's something that this sport lacked.
Yeah. For sure, it's very quiet. It's very like
and
routine and
no one cared. No one cared, and even still, sadly, that's how some regular local meets go. Like Danny's kind of lifting, I'm warming up. No one really cares. You're kind of in your own world, which is a little bit nature of the sport. We can't always change that culture, but to get people excited, like you said, just to get CrossFitters who know what a snatch is to now watch some of the best in the world snatch was something that didn't happen. I used to go to 24-hour fitness. We were talking about earlier, the one that's closing since 2008. I'd be the only dude squatting in the entire building. Right. No one even knew what a squat was.
Someone will be curling in the squat rack.
No, 100%.
Get out of the curl rack.
There was one rack, and I've told this story too. There was one rack, and dudes would shoulder press or whatever out of there. Okay, but now I went back like last year, and now they had to change it because the culture changed. Now they have 6 racks, and now there's people squatting. Now there's someone snatching in the 24-hour fitness.
The barbell education nationwide, well, I mean worldwide, but specifically nationwide, has really in the last 10 years has undergone this full change. People could talk shit about, well, they can talk shit about whatever they want, but, and they'll find a way to also. But CrossFit in particular, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that by and large it's the perfect plan for everything. I do think that like done intelligently, it really is the best thing if you just want to get in shape and whatever. But the education with a barbell that's happened from CrossFit is undeniable.
Yeah.
Like the sport of powerlifting has grown, the sport of weightlifting has grown, and not just like, oh, it's grown tenfold. It's like, nah, I grew like tenfold in like the first 5 years ago, and like since then it's continued to go. And so USA Weightlifting, the stipends they can pay out to athletes now are higher
than
they've
a living.
ever been.
Yeah.
There's athletes,
top guys.
Yeah.
And you're not talking, it's not like they're playing for the NFL, but I mean, check it out. You're a weightlifter and you're making $4,000 a month or something
livable
from USA Weight. Like that's a pretty good wage, you know.
That's more than some other sports like UFC. Lower level chicks, they gotta have a job.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
And that's that's obviously the extreme versions of it, the top handful of people,
the 1%,
but it's based on merit still, right? So it's like it's like if you get good enough, you can make a living just lifting weights.
There's a chance a kid sees that and wants to do it.
And there's a chance there's sponsorship opportunities where it's just before it was like, if you want to chase this dream, right?
Olympic dream.
Yeah. You're either like your wife is supporting you or your husband is supporting you, like your spouse is.
Yeah.
Or, that was Cal Strength. Their plan was a work train thing. So you would work the floor training high school kids, right? To get better at lifting weights for football and shit. And that's how you would make money to be able to just train full time.
Right.
So even then you're not training full time, but at least you're in the gym.
Yeah,
right. You have to work, but you're like teaching someone how to squat. Right? It's a little different. But like even then, it wasn't like take naps and lift, which is what it takes if you want to get a medal at the Olympics.
Which is what the rest of the world gets to do because of government funding and who knows
exactly.
What.
So you circle that back to like these squat racks and everything. The reason why there's 6 squat racks now is because that's what people are demanding.
Yeah.
People go in there and they know what a squat is because maybe they used to go to a CrossFit gym. Maybe they don't do it anymore. Right. But there's such a population who has now actually been coached in using a barbell. And that trickles down too, because how many people that are high school weight room coaches who 10 years ago, what it looks like in the weight room for high school is like, we're going to do some tricep kickbacks and some curls. And like, that's it. Like you go in a weight room and it looked like, Club Med or whatever. It looked like, like a geriatrics facility. It's like only machines.
It's like prehab.
Yeah. It's like,
there's some old dude in, some Velcro shoes and some sweats.
Yeah. And whatever, if you like, I'm not saying no one should ever use machines or whatever. Like, it's just all like cable operated machine. No real free weights except for a couple dumbbells.
Yeah.
You go in a high school weight room now, and it looks like an actual weight room, and how that like a weight room actually looks like at a D1 school with people who actually train to be athletes. And the reason for that is because the old PE teachers and strength coaches were dudes who just were banging weights, gym rat type, right? And then now those coaches that come in are people who have experience. Maybe they used to go to a CrossFit gym or they watch some videos online because it's so much
just
more popular.
more educated.
So it's just more educated, and so it trickles down, right? So as people get more educated, because the worst thing about coaching is also one of the best things about coaching is a lot of people just do what their coach did.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, if they don't have experience in it, right? It's like you go to a rec soccer. Whatever, and that's what does the coach do first thing is all the kids are fucking stretching because when they played soccer when they were 7 years old they stretched first.
Circle up,
let's go,
dude. There's tons of 7-year-olds ripping hammies, so we better keep stretching.
You gotta stretch.
It's very common.
And so, but why do they do it? They do it because that's what their coach did, and they don't know any better, right?
Yeah. And why do you count to 10? Yeah, because my coach counted to 10.
10 seems like a good one.
Yeah.
11's far too long.
The elasticity of my hamstring disappears at 7.
Isn't it like you need at least 30 seconds of tension even to like get any effect from stretching? Isn't it like a number?
I think that for any long-term benefits, right? So like there's a short-term benefit and a long-term benefit. So that all comes back to the whole just barbells in general, more bars in people's hands, growth of CrossFit, growth of weightlifting, all that.
And honestly, the growth of YouTube.
Yeah.
Fitness YouTube blew up the same time as all this stuff was happening.
Yeah.
That like 2010 and on, like you just seen this rise in everything at once.
Yeah, that's like, I'm obviously biased towards YouTube and podcasts having an impact because that's what all my friends do.
Yeah, and podcasts, for sure.
But it's a perfect circle.
Absolutely.
CrossFit started to get popular. I don't know what the first 3 CrossFit games looked like, but I imagine there wasn't a lot of people there.
2007.
Yeah.
Danny was there.
I was at the first year I was going to go. I just started CrossFit, and then I ended up not going. But then the next year, 2008, I went. Oh, yeah, I was at fucking Castro's Ranch.
Yeah, no one's there.
No, they're selling like beers for $1.
Yeah.
It was like, seriously.
Yeah.
They had like a tent, and they had ice chests, and they were selling Costco beers they got at Costco, $1 or $2 for imports. If you want a Corona or something.
The fancy stuff.
Yeah. Import.
But guys were drinking between events.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
competing,
that's old school barbell stuff. I mean, that's strongman, that's Highland Games. But then you go to, and I think the first one I went to, I might be wrong, don't quote me, but maybe 2013, 14, 15, It's in a fucking arena in LA, and
Staples Center.
It's more packed than
Home Depot Center.
Home Depot Center.
Excuse me.
Now.
It's more packed than their football. And I think it was a University, not Dominguez, but it's Dominguez Hills.
Dominguez
is up here.
Hills.
It's Dominican, I think, or no?
I think it's Dominguez Hills.
Yeah, maybe it is Dominguez Hills and Dominicans up here. I get them confused. But the stadium is more packed than any of their football games. That's for damn sure. Yeah. And now I haven't been to the Wisconsin one, but I assume it's still very popular. For that,
you're talking like selling through 16,000 tickets a day for 5 days straight.
Yeah, I mean that's like a state fair or something type event. Like if you guys haven't gone, I actually do recommend you go because it is a lot of fun. And again, it's just about everyone you're looking at, and this is what's different than the Arnold's. Like that person knows what a squat is. This person knows what a clean is. Like that's cool. I'm not a weightlifter, but I know what it is. I'm semi-educated. I got a lot of friends. It's cool to be around again like-minded humans, and you don't get that in other fitness people. But like Dean said, it's all that. It's CrossFit getting popular around 2013. It's YouTube. It's people like you guys building a brand and culture that complement these things to really elevate. And I don't think we could have planned it if we wanted to. Even if if we had Kelly Stret on the phone and us and Reebok and Bart and my buddy, like all these, I don't think you can elevate.
No.
It kind of was just a perfect storm. And I think things have topped off in terms of growth. I have a bunch of nerdy friends that are really into analytics and what's happening in the world. But it hasn't stopped growing and it hasn't gone down. General barbell squats, the Google search for squat or whatever, right? Like the growth was so fucking insane for 5 years that we couldn't keep up that pace. Otherwise, grandma would be a weightlifter. Yeah. But like,
she probably should.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree.
Good for bone density.
Yeah, but like the popularity of the sport in general, the revolution of it. Again, going back to this building, going back to you guys weightlifting, like it's crazy. I don't know if there's ever been any, and maybe it's because I'm not in other niches, but I don't think there's been other things like this. The rally car racing hasn't got that growth spurt. You know?
Well, it's anybody can do it to some level.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like so inclusive, right? And the community, for the most part, is so welcoming and motivating. It's
and I think there's something else to it also, which is that it's fun, but it likes other stuff. Maybe they're fun or they're fun to watch, right? So not only everyone can do it, but you also know that it's actually good for you.
Yeah.
Right? It's like you said, like, say there's like whatever, rally car racing. It's like you're watching, you're like, oh man, like, well, I'm not going to go buy a car and there's not a race I can enter, whatever. And then plus you're like, I might fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's that happens to people in that thing.
No, it's very few. The only other one that I can think about is maybe gaming and Twitch recently.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the new one.
Right.
That's that where like you're like, oh, he's really good. I'm okay. Maybe I could play and be better, or at least you can relate on something.
It's interesting because it's going the opposite direction though. Right. And so whereas it's this groundswell of like your everyday man does it, and now esports are getting more popular.
Yeah.
But it's not, like there's been, I guess everything started this way, I guess when you think about it. But I'm saying, like there's been, like weightlifting's been in the Olympics for however long, right? Yeah. But now you're getting this swell of more amateurs doing it.
Yeah, local level.
Whereas like gaming is the exact flip.
In a way,
right? So esports is getting more popular,
right?
But really, you have this massive base, right, of all these amateurs, and then now it's starting to actually grow the other way.
Yeah, and that one's a little more trackable too, probably because like you guys are around my age. I think like Nintendo came out in our age, so it makes sense that now we are adults, we have some money, and we're still playing video games, and we can buy video, right? Like that one's more just like a generational culture thing. Like, clearly, it's more popular than it was in the '80s because all they had was fucking asteroids or whatever the game,
and it's very comparable because it's you and your controller. Or it's you and your barbell.
Yeah.
It's kind of your success is up to you.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And everything we talk about is too a lot at work. But like everything is a learned skill.
Yeah.
Right. Like you may not be the best in the world at something, but you can definitely, if you do more of it, you get better.
Yeah.
Right. And that's everything. Right. So that definitely translates to video games as well. Like if you play more, you're gonna get better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I played a lot of hours.
Seeing that improvement,
doomsday,
and that's part of what makes those things so appealing and addicting, right?
Yeah.
Same with lifting weights. Like I couldn't lift this before, now I can. Same thing. Like I couldn't make past this level before, now I can.
Yeah, I heard gaming guys say PR, and I swear they had to take it from us. Like personal record kill or kill record. They'll say kill record too, but like how many kills they got in a game. I swear I heard a dude say PR. I'm like, this dude's got to lift, and that's something I noticed too. Is a lot of these guys are understanding because the typical gamer is either 100 pounds. and does caffeine and Taco Bell, or is 400 pounds
and does caffeine and Taco Bell.
Too much Taco Bell. No, 100%. That's literally who they are. But there's a couple guys now that they're into lifting. They're tweeting about it. I follow all these gamer guys. They're tweeting about squats. They're like, yo.
Tifu, you got swole.
Dude, you got real swole.
Yeah, real swole.
There's some controversy around that
might be.
swoleness.
Yeah, that's true.
But all those guys are doing. There's a couple other guys on Phase that are like trainers.
Yeah.
And then a couple esports team I've heard hired trainers for the mental and physical health and endurance of their gamers. It's
for sure.
It's kind of something similar, and you can make whatever argument you want out there. I don't give a fuck what you think, but like NASCAR and gaming,
right?
There's like, is it a physical athletic sport? I don't really care about the semantics whether esports is an athlete or not, but there is some type of mental and semi-physical endurance to pay attention that long,
to focus that long.
Yeah, tournaments go 5 hours, a whole weekend. It's like golf.
No, yeah, for 100%. It's just different.
You see that getting more fit. And helping their performance in the esports, that's interesting because you're seeing that more and more in other activities where nobody cared before.
Yeah.
Right. Like golf is an obvious one. Like people see that. That's something that's been happening now for whatever 10 or
maybe Tiger,
skateboarding.
10 or 15 years. Yeah. That's what it was. I was trying to remember exactly what it was. The other day we were talking about skateboarding. So these pro skaters, you don't get as many of the fucking street rat thrasher guys out there. Guys are out there lifting. Dean knows a lot.
We got
more
like
about that than me.
Miles Silvas is a local pro from Sacramento. He's probably arguably, some people would say, like, one of the best skaters in the world.
Yeah.
And guess what he does?
Yeah. Some kind of CrossFit or something.
He trains at CSP.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Doing like, strength conditioning.
Yeah. It makes sense. I mean,
he eats healthy.
And he eats good.
Yeah. When we were here back in the
Loves
day.
coffee.
There was a whole team of BMX guys.
Coffee.
BMX racing guys. We had like 5 of them. One of them, I think, even had whether it was an X Games or maybe even at that point it was in the Olympics.
Olympic trials.
Yeah, he had like a bronze or something. Like they're all like BMX guys, and they're in here box squatting.
Robinson.
Maybe he was small little dude.
So. Yeah, little dude. Yeah,
but that's how everybody. Wiz Khalifa put up a post. He's box squatting in some tie kicking
Wiz
shoes.
Khalifa's fucking ripped right
Yeah,
now.
You want to put on a good show. You got to have energy.
No, that's 100%. Yeah, the big one back in the day, or not back in the day, 5 years ago, was Rick Ross getting a CrossFit trainer. CrossFit, baby. Oh.
So Garrett Fisher, local boy, right? Anyway, he was one trained Rick Ross. So Reebok and CrossFit partnered on this thing.
Yeah, because I think he was even sponsored by shoes by Reebok.
It was
Rick
because
Ross,
it was with the Reebok contract. When Reebok first signed the agreement with CrossFit, it was like a year into that agreement. And Garrett Fisher was a really popular CrossFit at the time, competing in the games and everything. And his mom was going to my gym, he's from local area, and so then it was like this funny thing, like Rick Ross, I'm tired of being fucking fat, and so they moved Garrett to Miami, and they put him up in this penthouse, which was fucking dope. He was overlooking the whole bay, it was this really nice spot, and that was his job for like a year. He would go to Ross's house, and he would train Ross and some of his guys there if they wanted to work out too. And then he would hang out on South Beach, hang out on the beach, and that's what he did.
Sounds like the life.
Yeah.
I don't want to circle too far back to the skateboarding thing because I love skateboarding, but it's like you look at like these big brands coming in where there's like also like kind of mixed emotions on like a Red Bull coming into this skateboarding is a very small community. Yeah. I would honestly argue it's even smaller than like the lifting community.
Maybe
it's small, but people think it's this big thing,
right?
But there are
because the culture's so strong.
For sure. It's such a dedicated and strong culture, but it's actually very, very small. And you get these big companies coming in like Nike and Adidas, Red Bull, Rockstar, Monster, blah, blah, blah. But what they're doing with these young adults and men and women is they're making huge training facilities like in LA. Like if you're on Red Bull, you have the most state-of-the-art training facility with personal trainers at your at any time. Yeah. You can walk in there and get a workout in with the best equipment money can buy, and you're got proper nutrition, and it's only elevating the sport with like quality skating. Like people are going bigger, they're lasting longer, they're getting less injured because they're more prepared. They're not just waking up. Yeah.
They were similar as gamers, just eating Taco Bell and Monster back in the day.
Not anymore. It's totally changed.
Skateboarding seems like such a no-brainer.
Bongs and eating Taco Bell.
They might still rip the bongs, but they're still working out and getting.
So do the gamers.
That's true. That's true.
It seems like such a no-brainer for that because like what is skateboarding? It's like gymnastics mixed with like circusry.
Yeah. A lot of athleticism.
You're flying fucking there,
sure.
whipping around at 720. Like, you got to have some coordination, and your body's got to be able to whip around. Like, it seems like such a no-brainer, and that's every sport. Like, I'm sure jockey. We had a jockey in here, I think, once, or maybe it was just short, and I'm being mean.
Yeah, I've learned a little bit about that.
But I heard those guys are jacked.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
They have to be.
Yeah, like
snowboarding's a great example.
Think about how much
Lindsey
core
Vonn's
strength.
all jacked now, and same idea. I think people rip her, and I do too, because I'm not a big Dwayne The Rock Johnson fan, and we can dig into that to another day if we'd like. But like the Under Armour, he's lifting weights. Kevin Hart's trying to get jacked. Like it really is like such a wave of like he's squatting. Like they're fucking squatting. You know, like that still blows my mind.
Talk about culture. The whole thing too is like, who is arguably the most influential person, maybe in the world right now, most popular podcast with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Right, like Joe Rogan has more pull, more listeners than maybe anybody else, and he talks about fucking working out, and eat healthy,
and like particulars.
You should eat meat and vegetables, and you should do hill sprints.
Yeah.
And all the shit he's saying is real. He's not saying like, whatever. I had this personal trainer at the local gym who just took this online test, and he has me doing like curls and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, nah, man, like I was sprinting up this hill barefoot, and I eat meat and vegetables, and like actual fitness advice.
Yeah.
And so then you take that, and that's the, like I said, one of the most influential people.
Yeah.
That definitely has a cultural impact.
100%.
Well, you're seeing fitness like placed into all these things that we were already interested in now. Now everybody's adding fitness, whether it's stage performance for a rap concert, whether it's, recreational sports, or it's gaming. It's like fitness is connected to all that now in 2020, which is like something that nobody could have like seen coming.
No, 100%. Because even Rogan 10 years ago, a skinny little comedian. Right, 20 years ago. You know what I mean? It looked like a nobody, probably didn't eat anything, and he just talked on stage, and personally, I don't think he was that funny at the time. But
his biggest sponsor was the Fleshlight?
Yeah, the
Fleshlight. His only
Fleshlight.
sponsor was the Fleshlight.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Did he have his own like design, pro model?
The Fleshlight, Aubrey Marcus.
Not so far as I know, but
here comes more 50% facts. Aubrey Marcus, who owns Onnit with Rogan's uncle, was the inventor of the Fleshlight.
Yeah, I heard that.
And now the Onnit HQ is in the old Fleshlight warehouse.
Oh, awesome.
God, I hope that's true.
No, I'm pretty damn sure it's true. Yeah, I'm pretty damn sure it's true.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that Aubrey Marcus' uncle invented or something like that.
Yeah, the sex industry
Sounds
mixing
right.
with some squats. What
Yeah.
a great world.
I would not be surprised if there's like workout routines for that.
There's got to be.
And all of that and how it is like infiltrating all these different aspects. Like that shit fires me up, because that's something we talk about with Caffeine and Kilos all the time. And a big part of why we do what we do is like we really believe in like a healthy, active lifestyle. Like you'll be happier. Like, do you want to be happier? You should probably eat better and work out.
Yeah.
Like that's it. Like that's what it takes. And maybe that's not going to solve all of your inner self-esteem issues or whatever you got going on over there.
Tons of issues.
But I'll tell you what, it'll get you from 0 to 1. That's for damn sure.
No,
You just
100%.
start eating better and exercising.
Or just getting
And it's-
outside and moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
getting outside and moving.
Keep moving.
And that's what we keep going. And Mike Posner getting all into exercise and shit now. Anyway, so the thing is, we talk about all the time too. Like, if somebody with the coffee, for example, and like Caffeine and Kilos products, it's like if you get up that morning and you make Caffeine and Kilos coffee, like we're a fitness brand.
Yeah.
And you're making that, like you are casting a vote. You're saying, I'm the type of person who is into fitness. Like you are.
Yeah.
And so if you do that, like you are, no question in my mind, you're more likely to go to the gym that day and to make healthier choices overall, having just drank our coffee in the morning.
Or put on that
Because
shirt.
You put on that
hat.
shirt.
Yep. Yeah.
You're like, it's the idea of like everything you do, every action you take, you're casting a vote for the type of person you want to be.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you are putting on that shirt that represents a fitness brand, you're basically saying like, I'm the type of person who believes in fitness, a healthy, active lifestyle. You brew that coffee, you fucking know you're brewing that coffee. You're going, all right, hey, I'm drinking this thing.
You can get coffee from anybody else.
Right. Sure. I am into fitness, right? I mean, obviously it has to taste good. That helps.
Right.
But it's like, if it's good and you have this now relationship with fitness just from brewing a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah, I think there's, again, random stats in my head, but there's some fact of like, first date, you should take her to a roller coaster because then your adrenals are high and everyone falls in love that way or something like that. Some bullshit I've read probably 20 years ago. But
in a Maxim.
Get that fear fucking in.
Yeah, raise my testosterone going over a loop-de-loop and I get more jacked or something. I don't know. Drink breast milk. I've read a lot of weird things. But
breast milk's probably
you wonder
really
how
good
all
for
that's
you.
working out.
Yeah, and then here I am fat and trying to open a gym. So But going back to why skateboard culture might be so tight or such a thing, and weightlifting might be a thing, and I was joking, but I'm not. There is something about physical exertion with a group of friends or community to really tie you in, and even gaming to some extent. I forgot who, I was on a podcast, someone else's podcast, and they were talking about how some of the best conversations they've ever had with their boys was through gaming.
Oh, 100%.
Because you're playing 4 hours, and same with lifting, like in between sets, if you're lifting, not really doing whatever, you hard squat, I'm loading up your weight, we're kind of chatting about whatever, but like your mind's kind of
something in common.
Yeah, your mind's kind of a different place, and you can get into things. Or gaming, you're gaming for like 4 hours, like you randomly like. I've gamed with a bunch of buddies. Shout out to all my boys, Prof, and these guys. He's from Belgium. I know everything about the guy. Never met him once. Yeah. We just gamed for a year straight.
You're meditating together.
No, you're in some kind of flow.
When you're playing the game, you're not thinking about the fucking bill that's due. Yeah. You're not thinking about the whatever, the car accident you got in last week, or your mom that's sick, or whatever the fuck's going on in your life. That's not what's going on right now. Yeah. Right now you're lifting these weights, and that takes concentration. Right now you're playing this game, and that's what you're concentrating on, right? And so you're almost like meditating together.
Yeah, and you learn weird little things like, oh, I know Dean likes to be quiet when he's serious because this is like his close to his PR. So when Dean's going for a PR, I'm gonna give him a little space. Or I know Dean loves it when I slap on. So then you bring that into life, you bring it into business, you bring it into gaming, whatever it is. Like, oh, that guy likes to be hyped up. Oh, this guy likes, whatever it might be. You learn a shit ton about each other, and obviously everything we ever always do. And I'm sure there's some study we could go, but like it is human interaction. It's tribalism. It's like finding all these niches to feel closer and more alike because we feel so isolated as humans.
The need to belong is one of the
now more than ever.
It's one of the primal instincts too. Like you talk about like lizard brain instincts and shit. The need to belong is one of the strongest survival instincts that people have. Yeah. Right? Because back in the day, you're living by yourself in a cave somewhere. Your odds of surviving are a lot lower than if you're living with a community, a group of people. So needing to belong is a something that's just in all of us.
Yeah, and another thing going to CrossFit, and I think all this stupid stuff's gone where weightlifter hates powerlifter hates CrossFitter, and whatever dumb shit. I like to think me and Jim, and you guys for sure, but we're a part of the every community has an issue for sure, but we can all, you got to respect it, man.
We can all come together under one roof and
how many powerlifters can barely pull 400? No offense to all you little dudes out there, but there's weightlifters putting that over their fucking head. You can barely deadlift it to your dick, and this dude's putting it overhead. You got to show a little respect whether you like it or not. I don't care. And same with CrossFit. Like, I can do a couple muscle ups, but I can't do 50 in a row and then go do some snatches or something. Like, I don't want to do that either, but you got to respect what they look like, what they lift like, what they move like. And we've interviewed obviously you guys and other CrossFit community members for our whole 10-year career. Point being, there's flaws in each of them, but there is a community and a like-minded, again, the CrossFitter knowing what a heavy snatch looks like, me even just cleaning 1 month with Ben, now knowing how bad that fucking hurts. Like,
we got people at the gym, like we've had people tell us this, like, oh yeah, we were thinking about moving, but we just couldn't. The thought of finding another gym, just fuck that.
Yeah,
we're staying here.
Yeah, that's the goal.
And
that's what makes them happy, and
that's what makes them happy. That's where all their friends are, and that's what like their highlight of their day.
Yeah, my only friends now are from the gym. Yeah. Even Kyle, who's opening the gym with us, his cousin was my training partner. Bryce, you probably know him. He benched with us at Super Training. Like, with one leg. Yeah, that's his cousin.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
So they're cousins. Like, that's the only reason I met him.
Bryce used to come and hang out at CK once in a while.
He was in Elk Grove. Yeah, met Kyle
his mom all the time.
I thought that was his first day or last day there.
Yeah,
same day.
Yeah. So but he's an Elk Grove guy too. But yeah, like the communities are so small. When you're like, oh, he bench presses, I bench press. All right, you want to bench press on Tuesday, and then the rest turns to history.
Yeah, and everyone's confused. They're like, nah, man, Mondays.
I'm busy Mondays.
I'm standing here monitoring this 24-hour auction, but
we're trying to buy some equipment.
I don't think we're buying anything, to tell you the truth, and all I'm getting is a circling basketball.
Because it's not actually a 24-hour auction. It's like a 4-hour auction.
No, and it all comes down to the last few minutes, and they keep extending 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever if you bid at the last minute.
It's a fucking racket.
Yeah, it is totally a racket.
It's not eBay rules.
Yeah, we got so lucky with these platforms that are so nice, and then we're like, fuck it, dude, we're auction gods.
Are those from the college?
Those are from Sac State.
I remember you taking off the old decals.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
That's why it's so messy right now. They were like already scuffed and like.
But I love that it's a part of the city, though.
It is 100%.
That makes it so much more special.
Yeah. And like, as you guys know, as meatheads, like any platform you build is going to be nice and it'll save some equipment feel good. These are like $3,000.
really nice.
Those are nice
They're
ones,
a foot fucking deep platforms.
They're built to last with, 400-pound linebackers lifting on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dan, you guys know Fat Dan. Like, he lifted all these back in the day, he said.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Probably Ben, too.
Yeah, probably.
Because he was coaching there, 100%.
Right? Yeah, Marcus and Dan sent us pictures of them lifting on it, which was
on
funny.
these platforms. That's
great.
great. Well, every business goes through a cycle, and we're talking about CrossFit a lot, about all the changes that CrossFit really brought to everything. So, like, what is your read on the current state of CrossFit, and like
maybe we can fill people in?
Where's it going?
Are we going to the political side?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I think we should go there because
we'll go anywhere.
Because I think you're more informed than me. So we have COVID going on, which is really weird.
CrossFit's actually in a really good place right now.
Okay, that's
good. The question. And the reason why I'm somewhat of an outsider. Like, I'm not in there inner working meetings. But, so Greg Glassman sold the entire company.
Right.
And that was something I did not think was going to happen. When the shit kind of hit the fan and he made some tweets that got a lot of people riled up and there's a whole lot going on there, people are like, well, if he needs to basically get out of the picture, and he stepped down as CEO, and then a lot of people said, well, he needs to completely divest his interest because if, the company's making profits, he's still making some. And I thought, well, that's just not going to fucking happen.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. So he sold the entire company. He no longer has any stake in it or whatever. I think there was something in the deal about a portion, like 1% or some shit, like it goes to his kids. And like, who's gonna bitch about that type thing, right? Like, no matter what you may have said or done,
the main goal.
Your children having 1% of this thing is whatever. And I'm not totally sure on all the details.
He just set up his
that
kids
was
somehow.
part of it. That was part of it. And then outside of that, like, the company is completely in new hands now, and the guy who bought it got his money from building a giant tech company and all that type of thing. And so he's talking about doing a lot more support for the affiliates, doing things for the affiliates, and as far as coming out with official CrossFit apps that do different things that'll help serve their members and serve their clients, and doing more business coaching.
The things that it was missing, honestly, the most.
Because that's what you hear, right? The franchise, you pay a little bit and then they disappear, rather than like even a McDonald's.
Well, so very different. So the CrossFit affiliate model, it's an affiliate, not a franchise.
Okay.
So a franchise, you come in and they
you get
say,
some rules.
This is how you flip a hamburger, right? And this is the equipment that you buy, and this is all that. CrossFit, it's like you just pay to be able to use the name. Right, so you pay a flat fee, which is honestly cheap as shit. Like, even like whatever now, it's $3,000 a year,
that is
or
really
something,
cheap.
right? And then you can use the name, and you get various benefits, such as like you're listed on the website, and it's a very real thing. People search CrossFit near me and find you that way, right?
Yeah.
And so
it's definitely beneficial in just that one aspect alone.
Just that one aspect. How many members do you need that are paying $150 a month to make up your three? You need 2 people because you have it in your name, and it makes up the affiliate fee. But part of that is there was very much a libertarian cream rise to the top. That's like the extent of what we do. Like, we've helped facilitate training certifications, and they can use the name. And then how you run your business has got fucking nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And there's a benefit to that, and it's true. The people who, and then it created like a little, outside market to that. And then people who got good at it sold their systems and different things like that. So the new guy, Eric Rosen, he's more on, well, we can maintain that model, but we can give more support. Like, why don't we say, hey, best practices. Hey, by the way, out of all these, 10,000 CrossFit gyms, the top 1,000 grossing gyms, this is the way they do it.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, we found that, or there's these 3 main models. There's an open class model, there's a closed class model, and there's a whatever else model, and of hybrid model. And this is how they do those. And they found if you follow one of these, and if you follow these particular things within that, you have a lot better odds of success. Here's how to decide how you price things. Here's the best way to bring in a new member, right? Like, the basic things. Instead of having someone sign up and jump into your class and have no fucking idea what they're doing, you could do an onboarding process. And here's what people have found have had success for them doing that. This marketing, how do you get new members? Well, we've found, the top 10 gyms do these things, right? And so there was 0 of that before.
Right.
And so people who would look those things up and learn them on their own, ton of success. People who just have never done a business and maybe aren't real
hobbyist gyms,
they struggle because they don't know those things and they're not finding those things out. So that's why I say I think it's in a good place, because the thing that really pissed most people off and why a lot of people were leaving or threatening to leave, it completely answered their call.
Yeah.
They said, we want nothing to do with this fucking guy. And he sold the company, got out of there completely.
That's what I wonder.
And then the new guy's actually like, okay, now we're going to do these things. What's everybody been bitching about?
Yeah,
Because
how can
he
I help?
owned a gym. Everyone's been bitching about these. We're going to address those issues.
That's what I wonder, though, and not to put you on the spot by any means, Danny,
go
because
for it.
because you're not the voice of CrossFit. You just have a lot of experience.
I can be today.
Yeah, but just to open the conversation is like, so the whole thing sat around the George Floyd incident, right? And then that's where he made some very offhanded tweets, in my opinion.
Well, that set it in motion.
Right. So that's what I think is even deeper here. So then, and I'm a cynic, and what I noticed, being self-reflective, is I used to speak my mind more in the beginning of the podcast, and then I started being like, all right, well now I have
which got us in trouble with CrossFit one time.
Yeah, it did. And
okay.
but I'm going to do that again, I think. And that's what I've decided to do is now.
More people agree with you than you.
When I'm 32 years old and I just don't give a fuck anymore. But for a while there, I was playing this stupid game to make friends and to be PR like and whatever. And that's where my cynical jadedness, haterness comes out right now. Is I saw a plethora of high-level athletes in CrossFit, people that are involved there business-wise or whatever, make these comments right after that happened.
Right.
I can't believe Glassman. This is a deeper problem. CrossFit has a lot of issues in the racial territory, and we have a lot of issues here to fix. I don't know what I'm doing. And I saw this, and just like everything else, maybe they meant it, maybe they didn't. The cynic in Mike says they didn't because everything was copy pasta all over the Instagram. And some people might have, I'm not calling out anyone in particular because there's thousands of athletes that wrote this. And I'm sure some of them had really kind hearts when they meant to write it.
For sure.
For sure. And I assume some were just playing the game, which I hate. And then Glassman steps down, or first he does the transition that you spoke about, and then I hear nothing. Everyone's like, yep, racism gone. CrossFit's cool again.
So
we got a new owner, and like you explained, the business part, that sounds great that he's helping affiliates more. But like if there's this deeper issue.
In the interim, there's actually a lot more things that took place.
I'm sure there is, because I haven't read up on it, and that's why I didn't want to put you on the spot to be the voice of CrossFit or anything.
I will be today.
But
I'll be the voice of anything.
But that's my issue with all of this too. And people could say like, well, Mike, you're not posting this. Like, well, fuck you, dude. I'm doing what I can in the background. Me and Jim already have plans to do our part, what we think in our community here at this gym, and we're trying to make a change. And I just don't need to tweet about it every day.
Right.
But and maybe these people do too. You know, maybe I am being a hater, and maybe these other people within CrossFit or these other athletes have taken steps to maybe try to fix things or look at issues and resolve them. But to me, it seems like everyone's just playing this game in June, and then now Glassman's gone like, well, we're a utopian workout system again.
Yeah. So a few things though, just knowledge.
Yeah,
right?
hit him.
So what happened actually is before Glassman actually sold or before the sale was announced, right? I'm sure there's things in the work, but he stepped down as CEO, and then the role was taken over by Dave Castro.
Yep.
And they caught some shit for that because Dave had been around as long as they're like, whatever Greg's been doing, Dave's seen it and whatever, which is like, anyway, that's a whole other thing. But it's true. He'd been around the company for a long time, and, you know, is it really that much of a change or whatever?
Is there a new perspective happening?
But you know what happened in the two or three weeks that he was the CEO before the sale was announced and Eric took over, is during that time, there was 3 or 4 different initiatives that came out. One, for example, there's no communication with affiliates. They started a weekly email going out to the affiliate owners telling what's up. Then what they did is they said people don't have a voice, and each region should have a voice. So they started each region has a representative. So as an affiliate owner, you can talk to somebody. You have a guy to call, and he actually is on the phone with CrossFit once a week or whatever, right?
Sure.
And then in addition, they said, okay, the racial things, the inner city things, we need to do a better job of that. You're right. So this is what we're doing. We are putting together a group of athletes, a group of people who are going to help guide us in making sure like the CrossFit Games and that type of stuff is more, you know, equitable, or make sure things are up and up. It's not just somebody making the rules, but there's a panel of people, right? Then in addition to that, they said, you know what else? We need to start doing more. You're right. We need to start doing more stuff in the communities that have the biggest health issues,
right?
Which is minority communities generally.
When going to like the general model of affiliate, you're like, all right, well, if everyone's an affiliate, if I could charge $400 a month, I'm gonna charge $400 a month,
right? And so what,
you know, and
so
what
like, one thing they already did. The first one is they said, okay, we're going to start doing more things with inner city and with that type of stuff. And so then in Atlanta, they already held a certification. They did CrossFit Level 1 certification that was free to the local community and for kids. And it was in a gym that's in downtown Atlanta, helped with it. And then they brought in the coaches they brought to that. Half of the coaches there. The coaching staff's ethnicity mirrored the attendees, right?
Yeah.
And so
which is part of the bigger issue.
He didn't just go
CrossFit,
drop 6 white guys into the middle of this thing and say, okay, what? Which, not that they'd be less knowledgeable, but the people, you got these 17-year-old kids who are listening.
Right.
Are they going to listen to somebody who looks more like you and you feel like you can relate with?
Right.
You're probably going to get more out
more
of.
likely to get into fitness, perhaps, or more likely to get into superheroes. Talking about Black Panther,
human
and all these
instincts,
regular things.
absolutely.
Human instincts, right? Also, the people who look like you, imitate you, have
For
similar
sure.
things in common. You trust more. That's just instinctual.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they already did that, and they have plans to do more of those.
That's cool.
And so it wasn't just like
He's gone, everything's fixed.
He's
That's
gone,
what you
everything's
hear
fine.
about, right?
So
those
really
are the
happened-
polarizing,
There's that-
in your face things.
And so
of course.
all of those things were set up before the sale even happened.
That's cool.
And so a lot of people, even before the sale was finalized, were coming around because, okay, like everyone said, these were their main 3 or 4 beefs, and actually all of these were kind of systematically addressed in a different, and not just like a one-time fix. This was like, this is what we're going to do, and this is our plan to continue doing this.
Yeah, that's dope.
And this is what we're going to do, and our plan to continue doing that. And then the sale happened as well. Now, there were a bunch of also like sexual misconduct allegations that came out afterwards.
Yeah, there was layers that were finally coming out once the wheels were in motion. Then it started unraveling a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that was addressed because it was primarily the one individual was the main cause of that. But then also like the Nicole Carroll, she was really high in the company, the highest female executive in the company. She had stepped down. At one point when
this?
No, like
During
after Glassman's tweet and all that shit started going down, she's like, you know what? Like, this is off the rails.
Yeah.
A lot of people hung around because they know what the overall CrossFit is doing.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to justify or to like, well, I don't want to blow the whistle on this because look at this overall good that's happening. And if we bring this guy down, this whole fucking house of cards is going to crumble. And then, what, right? So anyway, so she had stepped down, and then after they started putting all these things in place, the sale goes through. She actually got hired back. She went back to the company to do it. So it's not just people from the outside, people that are there in it
have hopefully seen some change,
stepped away and come back as well.
Yeah, because it's a whole can of worms. I saw some of the interviews. A lot of it lined up with us getting the keys here, so I wasn't as informed on it. I was a little preoccupied, but
still a little bit.
Yeah, you put that out perfectly because that's all these issues. You hear it in whatever industry or whatever company, and then you hear the headline, you hear the anti-headline, and then now we disappear, and you hope for some change and some things happening, but you just never know.
On to the next thing.
Yeah.
And there are some people who had really sort of evolved past the need for the relationship with CrossFit. I'm thinking like Jason Khalipa, the Starrettes. Yeah. They don't need CrossFit as much as an average affiliate owner is going to need
or
CrossFit.
maybe even CrossFit needs them.
Yeah, it's maybe more the other way around. Yeah, I don't know what the current. I know Jason stepped away, but I don't know if he's
well, so
stepped
here's
back.
He's had one foot out for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, he has
And
for a really long time.
All the big affiliates that officially de-affiliate or that type of stuff. That's nothing new. That's been going. That's A's old story, right?
Yeah.
Like back in 2012, there was a few people that Rob Wolf
Is
and
that in,
Catalyst and
Apex
all those type of guys
and things of that world.
OPEX,
I think that was a little before that,
right?
wasn't
OPEX.
it?
Yeah, it was around in 2010, 2012, somewhere around there. Those guys were like the guys in CrossFit, right? That everyone looked up to and stuff like that, and even Power Athlete, right? John Wellborn. And so they all kind of have these run-ins and kind of, I think people, I'm nothing against any of those people, by the way, but they, you start to get a little more popularity and you start to kind of realize maybe I don't need these people because you've built up an audience, and then your tolerance for bullshit drops significantly. So then something happens where maybe 5 years ago, if it happened, you would just deal with it. But now it happens and you're like, yeah, you know what? I don't really need this shit.
That's the explosive growth of CrossFit, though, right? It's those exact years that it grew, 100-fold in 5 years. So then, like
wildfire.
Yeah, it's bound to happen, whether it be negative, whether it be justified or not.
Fracture off.
Yeah, it just happens. You can't have that kind of control of a company that maybe Glassman did have or wanted, and still have that growth. Things are going to happen.
Absolutely. So that's kind of so that's why I say I think they're in a good spot right now as far as how that all goes.
Yeah, something good.
A little bit of a reboot, kind of maybe.
pretty much.
A realignment of goals and
yeah, that's exactly it.
And like graphs and numbers and all this, it's got to level out. Like, it was fucking skyrocketing. And again, the control versus growth maybe got out of control. And so if I'm making numbers up, let's just say 100's the top. We have 100 affiliates and we're at the peak of CrossFit. Maybe they need to settle at 80, and now we can control everything, and it can be a little bit more.
Most of the growth in the last 3 to 5 years, I think, has been international.
Right.
And so
China's going ape shit over there with fitness, I hear.
And also Japan, Korea, the Philippines, like Asia as a whole. Also South America. The CrossFit within South America specifically, in Brazil specifically, but South America is growing also a lot. So in the U.S., maybe things have settled or stagnated, but international,
it's going through that. It's going through that boom that the U.S. went through.
Right.
Yeah,
They're kind of going through that right
hopefully
now.
Hopefully weightlifting, powerlifting, general healthy lifestyle will take a little ripple effect, and we'll all be a little better off.
I know someone who, I'm not going to say who. Anyway, there's someone who does some online programming and stuff and does pretty well with it, and that's an Instagram hack for you, or a Facebook hack, but they're doing Instagram, is they made a like how to do something video in the fitness industry. I'm saying real broad here. How to do something in the fitness industry, and then what they did is they ran ads to it in Brazil.
Yeah.
And got the views and the click-through just went through the fucking roof. Now are all those people going to sign on their program? Maybe not. But now you have this ad that has more social proof than you can ever imagine. And now you run that ad in the U.S. and it gets way more reach, way more clicks, better everything, because you already got all the data and everything. And that basically you can juice your posts by sending them to Brazil.
That's crazy. I would never have thought of that.
Take that out of the podcast. That's our secret.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pro tip of the day.
Juice your ads in Brazil. Or it works for Indian tech stuff, right? So you want to do something, you can juice your ads like in India. But fitness stuff, Brazil, South America is where you want to do that.
There we go. Moving the gym to Brazil.
There you go. Well, because there's not a guy there.
Right.
There's not like someone who's
a Khalipa or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. Makes sense.
He's in China, but
yeah, he's everywhere. Yeah. It's getting a little warm in here. We'll let the boys go. So
sounds good. Let's wrap this up. So where can everybody find y'all?
Plug away. You have an event coming up too, yeah?
Oh yeah, the Battle Royale.
Yeah, plug out the Battle Royale, dude. Plug out.
Well, we're gonna do a competition. We can't do the Caffeine and Kilos invite because it's in person. So we're doing the Caffeine and Kilos Battle Royale. So it's 2 persons, one male, 1 female. And it's $35 a person to enter, and it comes with a shirt. We ship you a shirt as part of the deal. $1,000 first place, winners take all. And then we have some little fun prizes like best team name, best dress, shit
your
like
supply of fit aid.
Like a video input kind of deal.
Yeah, we're using the WOD-proof app. You just film your workout. There's it's 3 workouts in
3
scores
minutes.
in 30 minutes.
Yeah, 1 workout, 3 scores in 30 minutes.
What's deadline to sign up?
Well, on the September 16th, early bird ends, and then September 23rd is the deadline.
No, so coming up here.
Yeah. Excellent. So get a partner, sign up, get your fucking shirt. They're dope.
Make some money.
And then you show up at the gym, you do a workout with somebody else, and you get back in your car driving home an hour later.
Game on.
We were like, okay, well, what are we going to do this year?
Yeah.
Like this is our thing.
And all you need, you just each need a barbell and some weights.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, we were in a weird little space with that. We were like, okay, well, it's like the first year we're like not going to do a competition. Like this is the soul of our brand and our thing. And, honestly, to be transparent, we almost kind of were like,
do we wait another year?
Do we just not do anything?
Bang it out.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, but that's not really our style to do nothing. So, we figured do something that anybody can do all over the world.
Yeah, adapt.
And I've had this for years. I've been talking about doing this, like the 3 scores in 30 minutes. That's nothing brand new. There's this one particular style of workout that I'm like, man, this is what people need to do in competitions.
Yeah.
People are too soft. And it's not like it's this.
I agree.
No, it's going to hurt.
And it's not like, but it's only, it's a short thing. It's it's just like a workout. Like I would just sometimes a regular workout I just do in this style just to kind of feel it.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, competition should do this more. I'm like, this is the answer. We'll just do it.
You see everyone's pain in video.
That's great. Yeah. So caffeineandkilos.com for that?
If you go to battle.caffeineandkilos.com, you can sign up for that. Dope. And that's where to find us, at Caffeine and Kilos, caffeineandkilos.com.
That's it.
That's it.
Easy. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks, boys.
Thanks. Pleasure having us. Love the new space. Excited for the future here.
My goal is what? 2 months. We'll have the podcast room going. And then we'll have you guys in. Maybe we'll have some AC. We'll have some drinks, somewhere to sit, and we'll do this again. Hopefully before the holiday mess that's about to be 2020 holiday season.
I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Oh God, what's gonna
I
happen
don't
during
know.
the holiday?
I'm kind of getting
know.
excited because I feel like not that it's not dangerous and some people obviously aren't suffering through COVID, but like the world kind of has like at least a palm on the ball, you know. And now we can kind of just see what our world kind of turns into. I was scared. I had some nights where I'm like, "Fuck, what the fuck's going on with this
Dude,
world?"
no, I think that's
you know,
so funny.
everybody
my
can say
mom's a
that.
little older. You know, you start to think these. My business is all. You know, I was
People
doing the
like
same.
us that are self-employed people.
Yeah,
it's a
you're like,
very scary thing.
Fuck, do I got to get
We're
a
not
job?
working for the state. My
Yeah.
wife's set no matter what happens.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, 100%. Yeah, she's working at
Same here.
home
Mine
or whatever.
too.
Yeah,
yeah,
same
but
thing.
I'm starting to freak out. But now that we have a palm and hopefully we're heading towards answers or health or whatever it might be, now we're just discovering what our world's going to be, and I kind of like that.
We just found out yesterday that the banker that we use at Chase, we've been trying to get a hold of him because we have an account for the podcast, but we were trying to start one
businessy things.
for the gym, and we weren't hearing back from him. We weren't
No
hearing back
email,
from him.
no call.
Nothing. It's like, fuck. So we went in and we've got an appointment with somebody else, whatever. Saturday, we finally set up an account. Yesterday, he calls me and it's like, yeah, you guys were trying to get a hold of me. And I said, yeah, and we weren't hearing anything back. He said, yeah, I had COVID.
2 months.
I was sick for 2 months.
Oh wow,
2 months out of work because he was sick.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Anyway, I am at.
Glad he's okay now.
Yeah. Well, he sounded a little. He sounded beat, to tell you the truth, but I'm sure it's much better than it was. Like, right? I mean,
I'd assume.
I didn't give him the whole health quiz, but I'm assuming that he was
Next time you
better.
head down the bank, just have him turn his head and cough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
the big
There we
old
go.
plastic things up and shit's everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's.
for sure.
I mean, I honestly do not see those going away.
Even just
They
for
might
like,
just be permanently.
I was gonna say, even just for like grossness of humans, it's not a bad idea. Say COVID disappears.
Well, I honestly they don't bother me whatsoever.
No, they don't really bug me that much. The workout equipment, I'm sure they did that somewhere. You saw that, like the ellipticals.
That's a little.
I
much.
agree, but yeah, if it's just because you buy a movie ticket, you're through a glass. So why can't I do my banking through a glass? It doesn't really bug me.
I don't like it. Say this person upsets me. How am I going to spit in their face?
That's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
not
I'm
true.
trying
That's
to
a fair
cause some
point.
ruckus.
Yeah, you're gonna have to lean. You're gonna have to lean and angle it.
Yeah, but by then you think about it and you just decide not to do it.
Talk yourself out of
I
it.
want to
Yeah.
be able to just impulsively just rip one right
throw
on
a
someone's
jab.
nose.
Throw
Well,
a
let's
jab.
just God forbid, let's just hope that stores are still a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's.
I heard both our malls might be gone.
Oh no, Arden is for sure. Like Nordstrom's already gone,
No,
but
I heard
Arden
the
is going to
mall.
be. Arden is going to be gone. Yeah.
And Talk is Galleria.
Yeah.
I remember the Galleria opened, not to keep this thing going. Galleria is our big mall out in like
Big
our
regional mall.
our newest-ish suburb.
It's the
only
Louis
mall.
V, Tiffany
Yeah, it's the only one where you
Co.
get like nice shit. It has normal stuff
Gucci.
too. I remember when that opened when I was, I don't know, maybe sophomore in high school.
was a thing. It was an event.
You wouldn't go because it was so packed. You're like, man, I really want to go to the Galleria, but I heard there's lines today. Like,
Yeah.
it was like a fucking epic thing. And now I heard it might be
Go to
gone.
the state fair.
Yeah.
Real quick on that is we've seen this before in China for SARS in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prior to
Yeah,
that, they were behind the U.S. on e-commerce versus in-person retail. Now, fast forward today. In China, it's 36% of all commerce is online.
Yeah.
The U.S. is still.
It never went back down.
It did not go back down.
Wow.
The U.S.
The new
on the
normal.
other hand, what is around like 11%, and it was prior to this in March. It was like 6 or 8%.
Yeah.
So it's only climbed there, and you figured there's only one way for that to go, and I don't see how we don't catch up to that 30+%, and that's all retail being online.
Yeah.
And
I
so
don't
the
doubt
more, so if you take another 25% of all retail that is right now in person, you put it online. Who are going to be those companies that right now are in person that aren't going to be there?
Yeah.
And it's fucking malls.
So, caffeineandkilos.com and 3sb.co for all your apparel needs.
Absolutely.
It's just there's just something about the mall
Yeah.
energy. It's gonna be
Sneakers,
sad. It's gonna
trying
be
on
sad.
some sneakers at a store.
It's just
Sad
rough.
world. Brand new episode every Wednesday. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Silent Mike, wherever you want to find me. 3rd Street Barbell on Instagram and 3sb.co. Clothing coming real soon.
I'm wearing the shirt right now. I absolutely
Real
love
soon.
it.
That's
First
the first
customer.
leak. That's the first leak.
I'm the first customer.
I'm honored.
I'm stoked.
Yeah,
There's
no
no
one better.
sarcasm in that at all.
Yeah, no one better.
I'm totally honored by.
I love it.
All right, I am at Jim McDonald on all the social medias. The show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers, and the website's the same. And I'll catch up with that at some point. My brain is not acting normal because I got so much going on in it right now. But anyway, we'll talk to you next week. Bye.